Okay, and if that works, then we should be live. YouTube kind of changed the way they do things, so hopefully this works. If there's anybody in the chat and this is actually working, go ahead and just leave a comment and I'll see if everything's up and running. If there's any audio issues or anything wrong on you guys' end, just let me know and I will go ahead and iron it out before we get going. Right now it says I've got 0 people, so hopefully the YouTube stream is actually working. YouTube kind of changed their entire dashboard for no reason. It was working perfectly fine, and then they're like, oh, you know this thing that you're used to, let's just throw that out the window. It doesn't work, so yeah, hopefully that works. Let's see. Viewer, no chat. Okay, everything should be up and running. Give me a second just to double check here. Gonna have to reload. There we go. Now I'm starting to see some stuff pop up. How's it going? How's it going? Gonna be playing some Donkey Kong Country 2 tonight, which is the best video game of all time. I'm person number 0. Let's see. Matthias Finko says where we are. Let's see. Hinata Hiramitsu says hello. Haha, what? Says just trolling along. Yes, Monkey. The best video game of all time. Monkey Kong Quest. It's actually Diddy's Kong Quest. I thought it was Diddy Kong's Quest for I'm not even joking you, 15, maybe 20 years ever since I was a kid. It's Diddy's Kong Quest, not Diddy Kong's Quest. But yeah. Let's see here. Sebastian Gomez says, please make a list of retro anime that you think we should watch. Well, I would be spoiling future videos then, wouldn't I? Don't worry, you're gonna get videos in the future of me talking about all sorts of cool stuff that you never heard of, good and bad. Let's see, came for Donkey Kong, staying for Discount Carpet. Well, you have to come out in back. We sell VHS tapes, no Betamax, the occasional Laserdisc, and anime on, on the discount. You have to, here's the thing, you buy 2 carpets and you'll get 1 VHS tape free, but you can't combine it with any pre-existing offers. Yes, comfy stream time, alright. Odanis678 says, if you had a crush, would you give her your simp money? I have no money to give. I spend it all on VHS tapes and time-based correctors and CRT televisions and magnetic tape and all sorts of weird 1980s retro stuff that the kids are all into these days. Monster Musume review for 150,000. I was trying to find this one horror movie on VHS. I can't say what it was, but I've been looking for this one tape, and it just did not pop up at auction. And you guys would have loved it too. It had a really horror-y sounding name to the thing, and man, if I was able to get that. Just the world situation has kind of screwed up VHS tape hunting in a lot of ways. So, everybody has a lot more time on their hands. Rare anime prices have gone up. Things are just not available like they used to be. So I'm always on the lookout for some really cool horror anime, but you gotta keep an eye out. Just gotta hope you get lucky. Let's see here. DZD says, I was just getting destroyed by this game a few hours ago. It's not that hard. I would say, actually, I think the newer games are a little bit harder. What I like about this game compared to something like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and let me preface this by saying I love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, fantastic game. However, if you look at Diddy Kong, you look at Dixie Kong, they're a lot bigger in relation to the screen. And I feel like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is just too zoomed out, you know what I mean? If the actual characters in Tropical Freeze were just a little bit bigger, I think that would actually make the game a lot easier. But, I guess the 16:9 aspect ratio really messes with the gameplay in ways that you just don't see coming. Let's see here. EV says, Kenny Lauderdale is my dad. You wish. Let's see. Is response what? Just immediately discarded it. Just a Lonely Man says, love your videos. Well, thank you very much, man. I try and make them as interesting as I possibly can. Let's see. Snark Marks says, hey, Ken, I just scored some uncensored Disney Laserdiscs, Three Little Pigs. The thing about Laserdiscs is, there are, the old Looney Tunes and the old Disney cartoons on Laserdisc. There are a lot of shorts that you can only get on that format for whatever reason. However, you gotta watch out for that disc rot. I mean, you don't want to end up buying some rare Disney movie or some short or something, and then you get it home and it just doesn't play because Laserdiscs were not designed really to last an incredibly long amount of time. You know, they didn't think people would be playing laser discs in 2020. It's kind of a little past their expiration date. Let's see, Kubi Please says, I actually just got 5th place globally speedrunning Donkey Kong Country 3 Riverside Race. Nice. I like the minigames in Donkey Kong Country 3. A lot of people say that there's like too many of them. But you know, it gives the game a little bit more variety, I say. What else we got? Congrats on 150,000, by the way. Hey, we're almost at 150,000. What does it say on the channel now, actually? I haven't checked in quite a while. Hold on, let me actually check. We are at, God, YouTube is just really making this hard for me. 147,000 people who are retro anime and delinquent schoolgirl enthusiasts, apparently, which is pretty cool. That's a very, very good number. Way higher than I ever thought I was gonna get. Let's see, 147,000, yep. Would you ever cover the Serial Experiments Lane PlayStation game? I believe, I don't remember what YouTuber did it, but it was like one of the bigger ones, wasn't it? Didn't Giguk or like the Anime Man do a video called like, I spent $1,000 on a retro anime video game or something along those lines? I mean, I wouldn't be able to get a copy of that even if I wanted to, if that's what they're going for. Loving the obscure anime from back in the day? Hey, well, thank you very much. Not all of it is good, as evidenced by things like Girl Detective Club and other anime that we don't discuss on this channel anymore because it makes me go insane. But yeah, you know, whether it's good or bad, there's just so much completely undocumented anime out there. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's crazy or absurd because people use those words too often, but to me, I would say it's surprising. Like, as an example, there's a bunch of anime that you look up pages on my anime list, and there are like, I'm no joke, hundreds maybe of pages on that website that no one's like ever seen any of the anime that are listed on there, which is like, I think it's kind of crazy. You know, there's anime out there that no one has ever seen, basically. And, you know, that kind of stuff is what I live for. I live for the unknown and the, you know, the search and the mystery of it. So, you know, even if an anime turns out to not be 100% good, you know, I just did that video on Coral Reef Legend, Elfie of the Blue Sea. And it's not the best anime of all time. It's not the worst anime of all time, but definitely, like, someone out there should have talked about it by now. It's, you know, it's Underwater Nausicaa. What's not to like about that? So yeah, I just like watching things that people have not watched. Let's see, how we doing tonight? Pretty good, pretty good. T0 says, you mean the Chad Chargeman? Chargeman can, you know, here's the thing. People, after they saw that Golden Bat video, they're like, oh, could Golden Bat beat Chargeman Ken? Chargeman Ken is not invincible. He's only like super lucky within his own universe. The plot in Chargeman Ken kind of forms around whatever's going on. There's an episode of that show where, like, he bleeds. He gets beaten up by some punk teenager school kid that happens to be an alien, and, like, you see Chargeman Ken get punched in the face. He's not invincible. It's just the whole show just kind of ignores all logic. It's a hell of an anime. Let's see here. JFGSLO says, yo, Florida man, it's a pleasure to catch your stream. Pleasure to see you still being here. Shivas Thong says, are you stalking me? Not on purpose. What else we got here? Caleb Basket says, every anime from the early 1900s. Isn't like the very first anime of all time from like 1907 or something like that? Lavender Prism River. Wow, that's a really good name, says Kenny. I just want to say that I love your channel, love Minky Momo, love Dream Hunter Realm, would love to see some more Magical Girl videos, please. I have ideas for other Magical Girl videos. There's tons of them. I should probably address that video about releasing those bees, because that is 100% from a Magical Girl anime. That's from Hanonoko Lunlun, or also known as Lunlun the Flower Angel. Her whole entire shtick, oh, you're gonna love this. Her like Magical Girl power is she has like a magic staff that she'll point at a flower, right? And depending on what flower she points it at, she'll get a new costume. It's like fantastic. I love that idea. Like in the very first episode, I don't understand why roses would allow you to not get hurt by fire, but like there's a house burning down in the very first episode of that anime, and she's like, oh, well, I need like a fireman suit, so I'm gonna point my like magical girl rod over at this rose for some reason, because roses are well known for their fire resistance, right? And she goes into a burning house and saves a person. It's kind of neat. I mean, it's not like the greatest idea of all time. Like, clearly, a lot of modern magical girl shows are a lot more, I would say more creative than that. I mean, you know, Minky Momo alone is just, like, super creative. But yeah, I like me some Hananoko Lunlun the Flower Angel. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. Let's see here. Not even a water lily. Thoughts on Cosmos Pink Shock? I will cover Cosmos Pink Shock at some point. The problem with Cosmos Pink Shock is it just has so much like background information to it. You know, that's an anime that has like history to it, and I really don't want to screw it up. You know, it's not like Girl Detective Club where I can just be like, yeah, you know, there's no detective work going on in this anime. You know, there's no club in this anime. They should have just called it Girl. You know, I can't really do that with Cosmos Pink Shock. It's not like it's the best anime of all time, but it's an interesting piece of anime history. So I will be covering that at some point. Let's see, a lot of Blackjack, kind of close to that. Black Cat says, VHS will one day stop working because their materials will wear out. Does that make you sad? It makes me sad. Yeah, absolutely. I was backing up, I want to say, like 3 VHS tapes earlier today, and I legitimately do this. But I was backing up some movie that was only released on VHS from the 1980s, and those tapes, they just get darker and darker and darker every single year until you can't see what's going on anymore. You know, the audio starts getting worse, the video quality gets worse, the tracking ends up not being as good, and, you know, these tapes in this anime is just completely falling apart these days. Okay, let me go ahead and check something real quick. Alright, turn that up a tiny bit. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Yeah, it would help if you guys could see the chat on the screen. I'm glad I actually double-checked that. Let me zoom that in a little bit there. Sorry if I didn't notice that the chat was all screwed up. Hopefully everything's a-okay now. Okay, where was I? So yeah, VHS tapes are just falling apart. It's horrible. I've got dozens of them that just don't work anymore, or they barely work, and it's sad. Kenny, I'm dying over here. Need more mecha content on this channel. Well, you know, technically, you know, Chargeman Ken is kind of a mecha anime. He's got a spaceship. He's got the Sky Rod. That's a type of... Spaceships are a type of mechanical thing. Cemetery Hill says, how does one finish One Piece? You never finish One Piece. Even the guy that's drawing One Piece has not finished One Piece. Let's see here. What else we got here? Seinfeld is best anime. Let's see. I like how it's another comfy chat. I just realized Kenny was streaming again. Alright. Yeah, you know, here's the thing about my streams. I stream games that I enjoy. I'm not gonna play something if I don't really like it. Maybe if that's the point. I don't really know of any anime that are so bad that it would be fun to really just play them. I don't know, maybe Robot Alchemic Drive on the PS2 is so bad it's good. Hold on a second, we got a donation from Ryan Platt. Give me a second here. Ryan says,
why would you do that?
Did you ever lose a tape recently? Also, I got a Super VCR coming in. Will fit nicely with that professional video monitor that I posted on the Patreon Discord. Yeah, for the recent video. Okay, so you know how I just did a video on the underwater Nausicaa anime? You know, the bootleg Nausicaa anime where it's basically the same movie except they just, you know, gave her like underwater sidekicks. That VHS tape took me forever to find. And I went to back it up just so, you know, I could do a video on that anime because it wasn't online anywhere. If it was, that I didn't find it. So I get that VHS tape. It takes like a month to come in because of the whole world situation slowing down shipping.
Why would you do that?
And I get it in there, and my VCR ate that tape. So you know how there's that clip in that video where I have like subtitles that say this is real VHS damage? That was due to my VCR basically wanting to destroy the last known physical copy of that anime on the face of planet Earth. And, yeah, that does happen. What I had to do is I had to take apart my VCR. I had to manually unspool the tape that had gotten stuck on the tape heads. Then I needed to find a, like, suitable donor, like, shell in order to, like, put it into a new VHS tape shell, and then I needed to painstakingly like wind it back onto a brand new VHS tape shell. So now I have an empty VHS case for God, what is the name of the anime that I just did? For Coral Reef Legend Elfie of the Blue Sea. And so I have like an empty case for that, and then the actual anime itself is in a blank like container. So yes, VHS tapes do legitimately just sometimes get eaten by VCRs, and you can get like an SVHS deck, or I suppose some of the DVHS decks technically have better tape carrying mechanisms. But yeah, tapes sometimes get eaten. The worst problem that I've had is mold damage, which is just like a whole nother thing. A lot of tapes are stored like in like moldy attics or in like moist basements and stuff like that, and you'll get like fungus, like or like literal mold will grow on the magnetic tape. And you know, at that point, it's almost not even trying to recover it. But yeah, I've had all sorts of like everything that you can think of has happened to my VHS tapes, and you hate to see it happen, but sometimes a tape will end up dying on you. Let's see, imagine all the birthday party VHS that will be gone forever. Damn, used to play this game back in the day. Hold on a second, I think we got another super chat. Here we go. Conquest Comics donated A5, which I believe is Australian $5, says, what you should do is an archivist video featuring a ton of lost anime on VHS, exclusive anime that we have a checklist to preserve. Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking the next video is going to be more of like a spotlight video, because I don't know if you checked the last video I did, but it's not doing so hot. You know, it's a stupid thing for a YouTuber to complain about, but like, I feel like, you know, just like doing a regular review on one anime is gonna be kind of boring. So my next video, I'm gonna just throw everything I can think of at you guys and have something really long that has a bunch of weird stuff in it. So yeah, if you're looking forward to something that just has a whole bunch of weird anime VHS tape information in it, you know, that's probably what the next video is gonna be. You know, unless I end up finding that thing that you guys voted on, because you guys apparently want me to watch another anime on the level of Chargeman Ken, of which there are very few of, by the way. It's not like there's hundreds of anime that are all as bad as Chargeman Ken and make you go insane just by watching them, but I'll work something out. But yeah, I'm thinking the next video is going to be like more of a spotlight type thing. I'll present a specific category of lost anime, and I'll list them all off, and I'll tell you why they're lost, and you know, all sorts of cool, interesting, fun information. So yeah, thank you very much for the donation, Conquest Comics.
That, but why?
Give me a second, I'm gonna have a sip of my Earl Grey tea here.
You could do that, but why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? You could do that.
Okay, let's see. Another donation. We got $10 from.
You could do that, but why?
Give me a second. Let me just turn down this volume here. I really need to find like a better donation notification message. Probably should be something anime, shouldn't it? Drop the ball on that one. Ben Martin donated $10. Ben says, Kenny, my boy, great to see you again. Who are you dressing up this Halloween? P.S. I love you. You know, it used to be where I would just try and just scare the ever-living hell out of the children. You know, dress up as a scarecrow or a skeleton or something with a bowl of candy in my hand just to spook them when they get the candy. But I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just living in an area where people are moving out or something. But there are just less and less trick-or-treaters every year. And now with this whole situation with the thing that I can't say on YouTube, I don't know if there's going to be any trick-or-treaters this year. So I'm not sure if I'm going to dress up as anything. Gonna have to use my imagination and pretend that people are still trick-or-treating. It's sad, but you know, hey, what can you do? What else we got here? I think there was another donation that I missed. Here we go. I'm Watching Stuff donated $2 through Super Chat. Is Zillion up your alley? I'll tell you how much I know about Zillion. Hold on. I'm looking at a Zillion tape right now. Give me a second here. Okay. You know, some people say I don't actually own VHS tapes, so hold on. Zillion, the beginning. In the 24th century, the peaceful colony Maris is under attack by a savage warrior race, the Noza. The Mauritians' conventional weapons cannot stop this brutal enemy. The newly discovered Zillion weapon system is their only hope of salvation. Meet the White Knights fighting against all odds to save their planet. So yeah, like I have a physical VHS tape of that in my hands. So if that doesn't tell you, that Zillion is right up my alley, then I don't know what does. Some say Zillion was the first Metroidvania. Were you talking about the Sega Master System game, right? Let's see here. Sega Anime, Nintendo. Whoop. There we go. Let's see. Shake a tape for us. Why would you want me to shake a tape? These things are like very, very like, fragile. But okay, fine. There. That's your ASMR there. That's what a VHS tape sounds like. You happy? Did that make your day? Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Good evening, Kenny from Killing Experience. Good evening to you. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see. In real life, showcasing your VHS tapes or something. I'm the dude who loved Golden Boy from that last stream. Golden Boy is fantastic. That's one of the best anime of all time. As far as like doing like a real life tour of my VHS collection, I would rather not, because it'll spoil future videos. I've said this to a couple of people in the chat, and I just can't tell you guys what I own, because then not only would people end up doing a video before me, but a lot of these things are like very, very, very hard to get, and it's weird to say this, but I kind of sometimes want like 2 copies of a tape just in case it breaks on me. As an example, I tried to hunt down 2 copies of Coral Reef Legend, Elfie of the Blue, Sea. But I couldn't even find, I barely found the 1 copy that I did find, and it almost like blew up on me, so, what can you do? Keep the mystery, Kenny. John Jafari bad? I don't know, I think he's kind of funny. Okay, how does this work? God, this has been a while since I played this game. Are we one day gonna run out of weird old anime? I mean, I suppose it's a finite source. I'll try and come up with as much stuff as possible, but hopefully that never happens. VHS insurance, yeah, God. Dakin says, hope you're having a great day, Kenneth. I am having a fantastic day, Dakin. Thank you very much for asking. Very kind of you. We could never run out. Let's see. Renan Chancellor says, Kenny, hey there, have you seen, how have you been? Sorry Elfie got eaten by your hungry VCR. It's fine, you could see from the video it played. It just got very damaged for like 30 seconds or so, which is a shame, that's that whole sequence at the beginning of the anime where she's riding her totally not Nausicaa surfboard glider. Let's see, what else we got here? Is that the real Killing? Okay, blah, 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 blah. This isn't Discount Carpets. Gunbuster or Evangelion? I would say Gunbuster just because it's shorter. I kind of like the fact that Evangelion has like a lot of self-contained episodes. It's very episodic in nature, and I've talked about that before, where I like anime like The Laughing Salesman, Mushishi, Galaxy Express 39. The laid-back stuff that you can kind of watch in any order. I like that sort of thing. But Gunbuster is just it's like so much better on average, you know what I mean? Like there's some episodes of Evangelion that aren't that good, but I would say Gunbuster is 100% solid all the way through. Now I don't know if you're like counting all the movies and stuff, then it gets kind of into a gray area. But yeah, in general, I would say Gunbuster. Let me see what else we got. We got a couple of donations. I'm watching stuff says you could always use Ava. Congratulations for super chat. It's a little cliche, isn't it?
You could do that.
What else we got here? Conquest Comics donated another $5 Australian. Says, if you want a blow-up video, just review a retro anime that you can trash. Just do Bumpity Boo. It's about a sentient car that hatches from an egg. I've got a lot of those weird English dubs that were only released on VHS, so I'm like very aware that Bumpity Boo exists. But I don't know, I kind of feel like there's other stuff that I should be talking about first. Here's the thing, you gotta really just kind of balance it out, because I don't want to be known as that one guy who reviewed Chargeman Ken and noticed, that all the insanity that comes with that, and at the same time, I don't want to be just doing regular reviews all the time either, so I try and have a good balance to it. You never know, I could talk about something like Bumpity Boo one of these times. The thing is, like, I said it with, like, Girl Detective Club. That's the worst kind of anime, because it's like, Girl Detective Club, look, don't get me wrong, it's bad, but it's not so bad that, like, you can just kind of make fun of it. The worst type of anime are the ones that aren't particularly good, and they're not particularly bad either. And that's kind of the situation something like Girl Detective Club falls into. Now, like Charge Man Ken, I could talk about that for an entire hour, so you really just kind of have a good balance, and you gotta choose your battles, you know? What else we got in the chat? I think we got another donation from Lagyverse fans. Lagyverse fans says, any chance we'll ever see a Harlock Matsumoto bad dub retrospective? Your clips... Clip vid really did well, and the fans would appreciate it a lot. Yeah, a lot of people told me that Ziv International English dub of Harlock it's apparently either lost media or extremely difficult to get a hold of. If I can find like every Ziv International VHS tape that they ever put out, I wouldn't mind doing like a retrospective on all their weird English dubs. Like, what did they do that I haven't talked about? They did, like, a Little Lulu anime, for example. But that stuff just does not pop up online. If I want to do, like, a retrospective on, like, all the Galaxy Express 3.9 dubbing, like, there's a really, really early dub of Galaxy Express 3.9 that's very hard to get. I think it was, like, written by Roger Corman, of all people. But, yeah, there are a couple of English dubs that only exist on VHS that are just, like, they either don't pop up, or when they do pop up, people want, like, $100 for them. So, you know, here's the thing about VHS. Like, I don't mind buying a VHS tape, and then you get it, and it's like, oh no, the tape didn't work. It happens all the time. That doesn't faze me. What would faze me is if I, like, spent, like, $100 on a tape, and then the thing just doesn't work. Because a lot of the time, you'll order a tape on, you know, whatever Mercari, Yahoo Auctions, whatever you're ordering your VHS tapes on. And the people who are selling these things, you know, they don't even have a VCR anymore, let alone, you know, have they tested the tape that they're selling. So it really is just kind of a dice roll as to if any of those English dubs on VHS even work in the first place. So as far as a retrospective on all the old Leiji Matsumoto English dubs, I'm not saying it's never gonna happen, but I'd have to get lucky and track down those tapes, you know? That's why I always have a bunch of videos on the back burner just in case something doesn't work out. Let's see, what else we got? Okay, so that should be catching up. So thank you very much for the donation and the question. I'll see if I can do something about it, but all the cards gotta fall into place, you know? Opinion on Golden Boy? I've already talked about Golden Boy at length. The animation is superb. The comedy is great. It's got the best English dub of all time. It's like the perfect anime. Let's see here. JZ475 donated $5. JC says, Kenny, keep on doing what you do. I found the original, Naujika VHS tape on archive.org. It even included the trailers. It is a totally different vibe. Are you talking about Nausicaa or Naujika? Because there's two anime that are very, very similar. I think Naujika is the one that's a little bit different. William Harris says, you made me an unironic fan of Hana no Asukagumi. Any more Delinquent Girl content coming up? I got a DVD box set for another Delinquent Schoolgirl anime series that I'm working towards, but it's like 30 episodes, so I'm still working through it. There will be more live-action Delinquent Schoolgirl stuff. You know, I love that. And if that doesn't happen very soon, then I don't know, I'll probably talk about something at least like tangentially related. There's all sorts of live-action dramas that I could talk about. Is there an archive for these streams? Nah, not really. I'll keep it up for like a day or two, but I tend to want to get rid of them just because for some reason, like YouTube will sometimes screw up and send out a notification for an unlisted stream to people who are really only there for the reviews. And that kind of confuses people, so I don't know, it's just the whole I don't know how YouTube works. You know, surprise, surprise, I don't know what I'm doing over here. I can barely stream. I don't know if you guys know this, but like YouTube just recently changed the way that like streaming works on the platform, so I was spending maybe like an hour trying to figure out the new layout. For some reason they were like, oh hey, you know this whole streaming thing that everybody likes to do on YouTube? How about we completely change how it works You know? I don't know why they did that, but they did, and now it's very difficult to navigate for some reason. So every once in a while something like that'll happen, and you just gotta roll with it and cross your fingers. Okay, let me scroll up a bit. I think there was another message here. Okay, William Harris says, you unironically made me a fan of Hana no Asukagumi. Yeah, I already said that. One thing that I want to say, there is other Hana no Asukagumi content that I could cover. I kind of want to do, like, at least a small video on the 1980s movie that they did. And if you have not seen Hana no Asukagumi, the movie, it is insane. I mentioned it briefly in the video about the show, but there's a crossover where Asuka meets, like, she meets like I don't want to say an evil version of herself, but she meets like a punk version of herself from the bad timeline where Hibari, the evil like crime overlord who's like a teenager in the TV series, ends up taking over all of Japan. And it's like a gritty reboot with like explosions and guns and stuff. It's crazy. She doesn't even have a coin in that movie. She traded in her coin for a gun. It's amazing. If you can track it down, it's very, very cheap. Even it's on DVD, it's on VHS. You could get a copy. No English subtitles, but you could watch it. You know, if you need more Hana no Asukagumi stuff, there is that movie out there. And I guess technically there's the reboot movie from like, I want to say it was like 2007 or so, but it's not very good. I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see here. Jay-Z says, keep doing what you do. All right, I'm going to scroll down here. JD1989 says, Kenny, the Ziv dubs that you were looking for on the Internet Archive, also I have one of those little Lulu Ziv dubs on Betamax, just have to upload it. Yeah, but here's the thing, a lot of that stuff that's like just on YouTube or on like archive.org or wherever people post VHS tapes these days. I don't know where they're putting them. A lot of those are done on very, very bad quality VCRs. And a lot of the time you can barely hear what's going on. Like the volume will be super low, or like the visual quality will be like sub 144p, like YouTube quality. Like a lot of them look really, really bad. And if you want to do like a proper retrospective on something like that, you want to track down the physical tape, and you want to have like a physical backup of it. That's what I did with Coral Reef Legend, Alfie of the Blue Sea. And if I do a retrospective on the Ziv International tapes, I want to have the physical tapes. You know, otherwise it's going to look and sound like absolute garbage, which is no good. You know, I've already got like 80% of them, so that'll probably happen sometime in the future. I've been working towards it. Ah, I missed it. Okay, come on here. There we go, bonus. What else we got? Alright, so I'm caught up here. Any info on Masked Warrior Lava Thunder? I will address that probably in the next video. Thank you very much for the tip on that. And I know you were looking up info on that anime. I found info in like the most ridiculously difficult to find way. But I did find out video information about Lava Thunder. Wait until the next video. I'll have info on it. Let's see, what else we got here? What macro vision remover do you use? I don't have a macro vision remover specifically, but I have a time-based corrector that happens to remove macro vision. You want, if I don't know what they go for these days, but go ahead and look up a TBC 1000, so TBC-1000, and tell me what those go for on eBay. That's what I use. You know, a lot of my equipment is from back in the day, and I've had it, like, forever, but I know a lot of those time-based correctors, or at least the good ones, have just gone, like, completely off the deep end as far as prices go. And, you know, when people are sitting at home more, those things just get very, very difficult to get a hand on. But that's what I use. I use a TBC 1000. Conquest Comics says, missed my super chat, Kenny? Okay, hold on. Let me go up again here. Okay, Conquest Comics donated $5, says, where can I find an active community of retro game fans and VHS archivists like yourself? I thought I was the only one. I have a Discord server that you can join. It's $1 to get in on the Patreon, and we're just talking about VHS tapes all day on there. As far as other places, I couldn't tell you. You know, I'm sure there's other people that are doing the stuff that I'm doing, talking about the old anime, trying to track down tapes and stuff like that, but, you know, everyone's just spread out. It's just a bunch of small communities all over the internet. You know, if you're really that interested in it, you know, send me an email. You know, I'll give you a free invite. The thing is, like, I had to, in order to keep the kids out, I had to, like, set, like, a $1 bare minimum just, you know, as a barrier of entry. I couldn't figure out any other way to do it. But yeah, we're talking about VHS tapes all day on the Discord, so send me an email or something. Let's see. Hold on a second. I want to get through this area. Go, go, go. There we go. Checkpoint. Alright, what else we got here? Already answered that question. Alright, now I'm caught up. I was in the live stream, one for a while back. Do you know Lock the Superman? Yes, I do. I have the VHS tape that they released for it, like... What was it by? Was it Family Home Entertainment? Whoever released it. I have the English dub on VHS. I hope you cover Cream Lemon, or at least the family safe related to Amy, like the movie and the music video. Quite interesting, the trope that the OVA invented. There's an English dub of at least one of the Cream Lemon OVAs, but I know I couldn't tell you where you would get a copy, which is, like, you know, it's a problem. I think they might have released it in Europe or something. I could be wrong. Go ahead and double check me on that, but I think there is an English dub of at least one of the Cream Lemon OVAs out there. I've never seen it go for sale, but you never know. I might stumble on it. Let's see here. Thoughts of City Hunter? City Hunter is great. Everybody loves City Hunter. Jeremy Martin says, the video game River City Girls is about Skiban. One of the gang leaders is a goth fashion designer called Hibari who runs a gang of delinquents. I wonder if she's a reference to Asukagumi. Very, very possible. I don't think they're delinquent girls, but, like, Skiban is, like, a very... Like, you gotta have the long skirts in order for it to be part of that genre. You know, it's like, it's like a motorcycle punk is not always a greaser, you know what I mean? It's like a very specific definition. Okay, hold on. There we go. Got the bananas. Several Cream Lemon episodes were dubbed. Brothers Grime did 2 at least. Yeah, there we go. So, what was it? It was like a porn label, right? Long skirt equals evil. It's not evil. It's just like, you know, when a girl has a very, very long skirt, she can hide baseball bats and steal stuff with it. Like, that's like the number one thing in all of these delinquent schoolgirl anime that they do is they're like, oh, I have a, you know, like a Tommy gun underneath my schoolgirl uniform. Like, that's like half the reason that those exist. It's because it's a crazy way that you can hide weapons. Lol Pink Pineapple. Let's see. Skiban is about being a badass. Let's see. Lotokus says possibility of reviewing bad anime knockoffs if that stuff even exists. There are a lot of like South Korean anime that I could talk about. Those are like legitimately bootlegs. You know, technically, I suppose Coral Reef Legend Elfie of the Blue Sea is not a bootleg. It's just like another animation studio is like, you know, we're gonna copy like 80% of this. So it's almost bootleg status, but, you know, people aren't gonna watch a video about the anime that's almost a bootleg, you know what I mean? Hold on a second, we got a Patreon person, $5. Darian Hoover pledged $5 via Patreon. Thank you very much, Darian Hoover. I will send you an invite to the Patreon Discord right after the stream is done. Okay, thank you very much for the Patreon pledge. Okay, where are we going here? Uncle Kenny at again with the streaming. You say that like I do it all the time. I haven't done a stream in like 2 months. If that's too often, then you know, I guess I'm a streaming addict. What can I tell you? You did mention the Golden Batman Korean bootleg. Yeah, that's like a specific example. There's other stuff. You just gotta look into it. I'm actively tracking down that, you know, those bootleg anime. They're not always easy to get. I'll give you an example. I tried to get a copy of Golden Batman specifically for the Golden Bat video, but it was only released in South Korea. It was only released in VHS format, and the only other god damn it, I jumped too early. The only other place that it was released in any form is there's a Spanish dub, and Spanish VHS tapes just tend to not show up on eBay for some reason. I'm still keeping an eye out for it because I want to watch it, because it's like, who doesn't want to watch Golden Batman crossover? But yeah, a lot of those bootlegs, it's not even that they're rare, it's just people don't even, like, the thought to put those up for sale on eBay doesn't even cross people's mind. That most people think, well, why would I put this Spanish version of the Batman cartoon onto eBay? No one's going to buy this. They just throw them away. So it's not that they're rare, they just don't pop up often. Let's see here. What do we got here? Damos Z says, if you ever talk about retro toku, you should talk about Dinosaur War. Let's see. Eisenborg, the Toku anime hybrid that got so huge in the Arabic world that the Saudi royal family tried to reboot it. I will cover Eisenborg in at least some capacity sometime soon. Okay, Nozomi Yume says, there is a Korean YouTube channel that has all of these Korean fake anime, like all of them. I have all of the $1 DVD ones released in the USA. Yeah, that's the thing, right? They're always like $1 or $2 when they do go for sale, but they just never go for sale. I don't know where you were able to track down the DVDs for these things, but like no one ever puts them at auction, and it's really annoying. But yeah, they are out there if you just keep your eyes open, I guess. Let's see here. But yeah, thank you very much for the $5 super chat donation, my man. Oh yeah, Donkey Kong Country rules. That is an understatement. I would say if I were to make like a top 10 list of my favorite video games of all time, I would say Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Donkey Kong Country 2, Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition, maybe Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. I mean, there's some Tetris, I would say, is way, way high up there. Probably like number 5 or something like that. Donkey Kong Country 2, I'm not sure if it's my favorite video game of all time, but it's definitely in my top 10. Such a solid Super Nintendo game. Gotta love it. There's nothing else like it. Well, except Donkey Kong Country 1 and 3, I guess. Let's see. So what else we got here? You can find some wild old stuff at random Dollar Tree locations. I do go to the Dollar Trees every once in a while to look for like weird VHS, not VHS tapes. They don't sell them at Dollar Tree anymore. Even Dollar Tree doesn't sell VHS tapes. But yeah, legitimately there are some weird DVDs that they only sell at places like I don't know if you guys have Big Lots where you come from, but all these places that are selling like overstock of DVDs that nobody in their right mind would ever pay any money for. A lot of those bootlegs do show up at those stores. Alright, let me see what else we got here. Damos Z says, DVD company that released them also released quasi-legal copies of the Ziv Captain Harlock dub, the Deimos compilation movies, and the RoboFormers redubs. I think that's only Ziv International for Captain Harlock. They did 2 different dubs, right? So that clip that I put up where we don't talk, that's named "We Don't Talk About American Captain Harlock" or whatever, or the manga had better voices. That's from the second VHS tape that they did, and I don't believe that has ever been released on DVD. Did I see Akira 4K in theater? Thoughts? I've got it on VHS. I've got it on Blu-ray. Why would I need to see it in a movie theater? So no, I appreciate the donation, Snark Marks, but I did not go to a movie theater to see Akira. That's probably the way that you should be seeing it. It's not like they designed Akira specifically to be watched on a 240p VHS tape on some Trinitron tube TV. If the whole world situation where people don't go to theaters anymore kind of settled down, maybe I would do it, but it wasn't even on my radar in the first place. They're probably not doing that anymore now that I think about it. Is that still in theaters or no? Movie theaters are canceled. Video games are canceled. Movie theaters are canceled. They're not making anime anymore. Times are tough. If I wasn't already like up to my eyeballs in lost media on VHS, I would probably be very, very bored. I can't imagine what it's like for the people who are watching anime like week to week, who are, you know, not able to watch, you know, their new episodes of whatever. Like, I think they're making new episodes of One Piece now, right? Are they still doing One Piece? Because I know they were on break for like a long time, because like, you know, when they want to dub anime in Japan, they tend to have all of the voice actors in one single room. And if you can't have all the voice actors together to dub your anime into Japanese, you kind of can't make it anymore. Looks like the Regal Theater chain is dead. Yeah, a lot of movie theaters are closing now. It's a shame. And not enough episodes of One Piece. Yeah, like really, what are they up to? Like 1,000 episodes? Can't people, like, if you watched one episode of One Piece every single day until you caught up to the new season, what would that be? Like 2 or 3 years worth of episodes, right? Oh, the poor One Piece fans, they don't have enough episodes. Kenny, do you know Kenny, do you know of any time Rem dresses as a genie in either Dream Hunter Rem or New Dream Hunter Rem? Is it a transition on VHS tape that I haven't seen? I don't know specifically, because, like, okay, let me think here. Dream Hunter Rem got released on VHS. And at the time, it was like a light, you know, erotic hentai, right? But then when they made it into like a legitimate anime, they re-released it. It might be like from one of the very first releases of the VHS tape.
Do that, but
I can't verify it because I don't own those tapes, but maybe that's something to look into. There's also like a DVD box set that might have some, you know, cut content on it. Let's see, Adel Hein donated 125 PHP. I don't know what denomination that is, but thank you for the donation. It says, what's your favorite retro video media format? Laserdisc, Betamax, or VHS? I would say VHS, mostly because they still work. Laserdiscs either work or they don't. Like, I talked to I've told you guys about this before, but I talked to a guy who wanted to actually track down a copy of not Dream Hunter Rem, Twinkle Nora Rock Me on Laserdisc. And
but why?
He said he got a copy and the Laserdisc didn't play. And I was like, well, what do you expect? It's a Laserdisc that was released in like 1985. They're not always going to work. But like, at least with a VHS tape, if it's damaged in one spot, you can generally play it. Like I told you guys before with Elfie, though I had about 30 seconds or so of the tape that just would not play anymore. Sorry, that it would still play, it was just damaged, you know? So even if like one part of a VHS tape isn't in the best condition, it'll still work most of the time, so yeah. You know, if I had to choose, I guess VHS. Don't get me wrong, I like VHS tapes, but I have a love-hate relationship with them because, you know, boy, are they getting old, and boy, are they not working when I want them to work. Maybe if those hacks in Milwaukee would fix my VCR so I could watch my Night Court tape, you know, maybe I'd be watching more anime on VHS. Let's see, what else we got here? I think we got another donation. What was it? Here we go. Let's see, Nozomu Yumi donated $5, says, I visited 50 separate interstate Walmarts trying to find them all. Solar Adventure UPC marketed as non-sellable in POS system, so had to take it. Well, I don't, like, condone you taking DVDs from Walmart, but, I mean, I don't know if there was no other way to get it.
You could do that, but why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Okay, hold on a second. I actually have to time these jumps.
Why would you
Oh,
do
man,
that?
Donkey Kong Country is so good.
You could do that.
What else we got? Darkman donated $5. Darkman says, hey, Kenny, have you watched Tatsunoko Pinocchio anime from 1972? That was actually released on VHS in America. Obviously, it wasn't the whole TV series, but I've seen parts of it. I know that's a very long series, and it gets extremely dark at certain points. I'm pretty sure, like the cricket sidekick that they give him just kind of dies in one episode, and they kind of brush it off. But that's how anime was in the 1970s. You know, look at Chargeman Ken. They didn't care what they were doing back then. You know, they wanted to kill off a character, they would do it. They didn't care who they were going to, like, mentally scar. You know, they were trying to do that sort of stuff on purpose. I don't know if you guys actually tracked down the fan sub for Coral Reef Legend, Elfie of the Blue Sea. It's a very long name for an anime. But I alluded to the ending to that anime, and close your ears now if you don't want to hear how that anime ends. But there were a lot of people saying, "Hey, that's kind of a dick move to say that the anime has like a dark ending to it." And I didn't tell you guys how the anime ends. She dies, okay? Like if it's a 1980s or 1970s anime, and I say it has a dark ending, that's kind of always the case for what's gonna happen. It's just like how it happens is the main issue. And 1970s anime, they just didn't care. Did not care back in the day. Okay, what else we got here? Thorn Reed says, recently found volume 1 of a Chinese anime-esque series called Bird Island on a DVD in English. The dub is considered lost media and hilarious. Any interest? I will put that onto my list of things to look into. I've never heard of Bird Island, but if you think it's really, really bad and I need to see it, then I'll look into it. This is the first I've heard of it. Oh, okay, there we go. I forgot how this boss battle actually works. Okay, so let me just focus on this boss, and I will get back to talking about anime on VHS, as I often do talk about. Okay. Come on. What's weird is like these games are like really, really hard when you're young, and then you get older and they become really, really easy. And then like the older you get, they become like more difficult because you completely forget how to play them. Come on. I know there's more to this boss battle. Okay, hold on. There we go. Got it. Alright, focus. 2 coins. Alright, I think I just need to jump into it there. Whoa! Come on. There we go. Whoa. Okay, it's speeding up. Hold on. I think it's just one more hit. If it's going by Mario logic, then there we go. Got it. Yeah, if you think that's something that I need to have like my eyes on, I will set up like a search result notification for that. Thank you very much for the donation, by the way. That's the thing about like not even bootleg anime, but just like older anime in general is just like shockingly undocumented. So, I've said it before, there's lost anime and there's anime you don't even know are lost. You know what I mean? There's things that people don't know about, and then there's stuff that people don't know that they don't know about. And if Bird Island should be on my radar, then I should probably look into that. Alright. God, such a relaxing level. I love the background music of this game. This is one of those video games where like every single song in it is like a solid 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Every single one. There was a CD that had all the songs for Donkey Kong Country on it that my parents bought for me back in the day. I think you ordered it from Nintendo Power. And I tried to find that thing. I tried to find that CD soundtrack again, and that thing is like $200 now, because they made like 50 copies of it. There was another thing, I had Donkey Kong Country 2, like when it came out, right? And you can look this up if you have the Nintendo Power magazines. But there's an issue of Nintendo Power magazine that has like an advertisement for Donkey Kong Country 3, and it says in the magazine, like if you subscribe to the magazine, that they would send you a keychain. And it was a keychain of Funky Kong, right?
You could do that,
the mechanic Kong. And that keychain, I have never seen that thing go for sale ever in my life. I always look for it too. You could only get it from subscribing to Nintendo Power when Donkey Kong Country 3 came out, and I've never been able to find a copy of that ever again.
Why would you do that?
It was the coolest keychain. It was just a keychain of Funky Kong. It wasn't even like that amazing or anything, but it's so hard to find. Kenny, have you ever watched Tatsunoko Anime? Already answered that one. Thomas Reed, okay, already answered your message. Okay, here we go. Red Hood donated $10 through Super Chat. Red Hood says, "What's your favorite anime, movie, show, and video game, and why?" I would say my favorite anime is the 2003 version of Kino's Journey.
But why?
Let's see, my favorite
you do
anime,
that? Why would you do
okay,
any of that?
and
She
why?
could do
I would
that.
say Kino's Journey it hits all the marks for me. It's self-contained episodes, right? So you can watch them in any order that you want. Just pick an episode and you can enjoy it. It teaches you some decent philosophical lessons, so you know you leave with a lot of questions. You know that like it had an impact on me when I first saw it. You know, it presents a lot of interesting questions in the same way that kind of Mushishi does, or Galaxy Express 39. So you know it's very light philosophy with like
could do
a
that, but
with that
why?
like a episodic
Why would
nature
you do
to
that?
it.
Why
I
would
like
you do
like
any
the
of that?
Twilight
She
Zone
could
for the
do
exact
that,
same
but
reason.
why?
You know, self-contained episodes,
do
they
that? Why would
they
you do any of
present a
that?
question
could
and
do
they're
that.
kind of spooky in a way. Kino's Journey is not only that, but it's also relaxing, and I guess Mushishi is relaxing too, but I like Kino's Journey just a little bit more. I guess because of the way that's presented, it's a little bit more grounded in a way. You know, Mushishi kind of has a Monster of the Week thing going, but you know, what was it? Galaxy Express 39, I guess, would be slightly closer to Kino's Journey. You know, it's hard for me to articulate why I like it, but it just hits everything that I like. What can I tell you? You know, good music. The episodes stand the test of time. The animation isn't very good, but it's not like trying to be good in the first place. Yeah, Kino's Journey, 10 out of 10. As far as my favorite anime movie, it used to be Kiki's Delivery Service, but you know everybody talks about Ghibli films or Ghibli, however you want to pronounce Miyazaki's studio. It used to be Kiki's Delivery Service. I don't know if it is anymore. I don't honestly watch a lot of anime movies, to tell you the truth. I watch a lot of OVAs and a lot of TV series, but movies I just tend to not watch them for some reason. Alright, well anyway, I hope that answers your question. Favorite video game? Donkey Kong Country 2. Like I
could
told
do
you.
that,
Maybe
but
God
why?
Hand, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Why would you do that? Why would
They're
you do any of
infinitely
that?
replayable,
do
so
that,
you know
but
there's
why?
that.
Why would you do that? Why would
Let's
you do any
see,
of that?
what else
She
we
could
got
do
here?
that.
JD1989 donated $5 through Super Chat. JD says, "Kenny, I have a copy of the Ziv dub of Les Miserables. It is literally the rarest family home entertainment big box VHS I own. Do you want it?" Hold on a second here. Oh, God. Like, you're making me physically open packages here. Okay, so you said it's the rarest Ziv International big box tape. I will read you the back of my copy. Les Miserables, Victor Hugo's classic tale of heroism and human compassion. Les Miserables is the story of Jean Valjean, an unemployed woodcutter who is accused of stealing food and imprisoned for 19 years. Upon his release, he attempts to bury his past and begin a new life as a respectable town mayor. His attempts are continually thwarted by Javert. Let's see, Javert. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to say Javert, a suspicious police inspector. Through the years, their encounters evolve into a bitter and passionate struggle until, at last, in a surprising turn of events, their conflict is resolved. And that was by Family Home Entertainment, the kids company. So, you know, odd movie to release on VHS for kids in America in the 1980s, but I own a copy. Just read the back of the box. So no, do I want it? No, I have a copy of it. Hope that answers your question. What else we got here? D. Addison donated $5. D. Addison says, "Go for a Punch is fake, but what is the anime, not Dragonhead manga, people keep confusing it with?" You know, I addressed this in that community tab post, and there's a lot of stuff that's like, you know, when people were looking for Saki Sanobashi, you know, immediately I was like, you know, it doesn't exist because you don't have any evidence, right? And I hate repeating myself. But, you know, you guys didn't even know what the name of the anime is. That's just, you know, the guy who said, "I'm trying to think of an anime," was like, "I think that's the name of the anime." You know, even the person who made the post talking about it didn't know what anime it was. They didn't know the name. It was a bunch of very, very vague descriptions. And it's done that way on purpose because it's like it's clearly a troll post on 4chan. They're just kind of trying to rile people up. And I hate having to keep talking about it all over the place, but I'm sure there's anime that kind of fit very specific parts of the description. So, like, I'm sure there's anime with horror elements to it. There's anime where there's girls, you know, are the main character. It's worded vaguely enough where it could, like, literally be anything. So to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know what they're confusing it with. It's from what I've read on the internet, what I've heard through the grapevine, it got to a point where they're like, well, we can't find literally any information about this anime, and, you know, shocker, because it doesn't exist, right? But at some point, they were like, you know what, let's just animate our own version of Saki-san Obashi, and I almost respect that to a point. They wanted it to be so real that they just started animating it on their own. But that shows you the length that people are willing to go through to kind of make this thing real. And, you know, at some point when you can't find the anime, you're just like, you know what, let's just make it ourselves. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. So what is the anime that they're confusing it with? I couldn't tell you. They've confused it with so many things that it could be literally anything. Red Hood 777 donated $20 through Super Chat. My God. Red Hood says, what is your favorite anime show, movie, and video game, and why? You already asked me that, Red Hood. Is that, did I answer the same question or something? Is the chat getting screwed up? Alright, yeah, but I already told you. Kino's Journey, favorite anime. Favorite video game is probably
Why would you do that?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or God Hand or maybe Donkey Kong Country 2. You know, Tetris.
Why would you do
Game
that?
Boy version of Tetris specifically. The Nintendo version is good, but, you know, I like the Game Boy version. I like having it on the go. You know, it was packaged with the system. Let me think. Just in case I didn't answer the question properly, let me think of another anime that's in my top 10. I know it's cliche, but I really like Fooly Cooly or FLCL or Furikuri, however you want to pronounce that anime. You know, it's an OVA, it's well animated, 10 out of 10 soundtrack. Like, anything that I could say about Fooly Cooly has probably been said like 100 times already by every single person on YouTube. But it's well made, what can I tell you? Like the soundtrack, I like the pillows. Alright, what else we got here? Weird Prog 1 donated $2 Canadian. Weird Prog 1 says, have you seen the Sonic OVA OST demos that were found? Yeah, I posted about that on my Twitter accounts, and I don't really post the way that people normally post on Twitter. I just use it to, you know, post artwork, I guess. But when the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA soundtrack did get released, I was one of the first people who found out about that, and I told everybody on my Twitter account like a big hotshot that it was out there. It's kind of crazy how they actually found the soundtrack to that anime. From what I gather, and I could be wrong, you know, go ahead and fact check me on this, I guess, but from my memory, they basically went through like the Japanese credits for the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA. And they just went like one by one through the people that were listed in the credits and just saw who was still active on Twitter, and they just messaged literally every single person who was part of the production of the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA until one of them responded, and they asked for the soundtrack, and they just emailed it to him. Apparently it was just that easy. But yeah, man, it's, what was it, like 20 years already since that came out, right? When did that come out? Let me think. Like 96 in Japan? So yeah, that's like, that's 24 years ago, the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA. Hopefully my math isn't wrong, because I am getting pretty tired. But yeah, like over 20 years now since that came out, and we finally have the soundtrack to it. That was amazing when that happened. That made my whole entire week. You know, I own that on VHS. Okay, I think I'm caught up now. Back to playing Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Nintendo. Alright, jump, jump. Alright, good. Alright. Whoop, jump, jump, jump. Got it. See, you can see I'm a Donkey Kong Country pro. I've played this game literally hundreds of
Why
times.
would you do that? Why would you do any of that? You could do that.
All
but
right, come on.
Why would you
I
do
just
that?
want
Why
to
would
see
you
if
do
I
any
can
of
beat
that?
the level,
You
and then
could
I
do
will
that.
get to the super chat. Just give me a second. Can I enjoy the video game? Like, do people actually play video games on stream and talk at the same time? Is that like a thing that people do? Because I notice a lot of the time people will just constantly be like pausing when they're streaming a video game at the same time. And I realize the problem with that. The problem is like you need like if you're really good at a video game. I'm pretty good at Donkey Kong Country 2. Not the best, but when you're really familiar with how a game plays, you can talk to the chat and play the video game at the same time. But if you've never played a video game before in your life, it gets kind of difficult. So Donkey Kong Country 2 is that middle ground where I'm like, I'm good at it, but, you know, I'm not the best. Okay, Red Hood says, what is the darkest, bloodiest, goriest anime you have ever seen? What is the name of that anime? It was like the Curse of what? God, what is the name of that anime? There's an anime I'm thinking of, and I'm blanking on it, but it was hand animated by one guy, and like all the animation studios refused to release it because it was so gory that every animation studio that the guy took the anime to was like, yeah, we're not gonna make this. So he like hand animated it over the course of 10 years, and it was called like the Curse of something, and I honestly can't remember the title of it. It's been very long since I've watched this anime. You're kind of putting me on point now. I don't know, there's stuff that has a lot of violence in it. Genocyber has some good scenes in it. Obviously, Angel Cop has that one scene where the girl's head gets exploded. There's a lot of it's mostly OVAs, I would say. And then I guess like technically, if you want to go for the stuff that really psychologically messes with you, there's a lot of deaths in mecha anime. Specifically, Tomino likes to like kill children for like no reason in a lot of the anime. I think was it Ideon that has that one scene where like the 5-year-old girl gets her head exploded with like a laser beam. Am I thinking of the right anime or not? To answer your question, I don't know. I tend to not watch super gory anime. Let's see what else we got here. There was another donation that I missed. Hold on, I got to scroll, see what it was. Okay, Red Hood had a donation message. I think I already answered it, right? Yep, alright, sorry. Okay, I caught up. So now I can go to the next Donkey Kong level. Greg the Grim Reaper says, any thoughts on Kimagure Orange Road? I like it especially for Madoka. Author just died, by the way. Yeah, I heard about that. You know, it's good. It's like the tail end of that delinquent schoolgirl genre. You know, you got, what was her name? Was it Saki the Pick? Am I thinking of the right character? There really aren't that many Skebon characters of that time because it was starting to get phased out. I guess, like, technically, Sailor Jupiter started as a delinquent schoolgirl character, but, yeah, Kimagure Orange Road is one of the very last anime with a Skebon that I really haven't talked about, I would say. Was Madoka the pick? Was that what it was? Kasaki is from Skebon Deka. That's a different character. Curse of the Yoma, maybe. What do you think about Cutie Honey? Cutie Honey is awesome. She has a spaceship that is shaped like her. Like how cool do you have to be where you drive a mecha that looks like your face? I like Cutie Honey. Mostly, I would say the very first one is good. Shin Cutie Honey I like for the animation, obviously. It's ridiculous how many frames of animation that has. Let me think. What was the one that was done by I don't think it was by Studio Trigger, but it was like a bunch of the Gainax people that worked on, Fooly Cooly worked on it. I can't remember the name of it. There have been so many Cutie Honey series, it's ridiculous. Probably a video I should be doing at some point. Let's see here. Oh, I love Cutie Honey. Have you heard of an anime called Oshinbo? No, I have not. Green Legend Ron. People were telling me that Green Legend Ron is like another anime that's kind of ripping off Nausicaa, and I would like disagree. You know, it's influenced by Nausicaa, maybe like in the same way that something like Nadia's Secret of Blue Water is like kind of influenced by Nausicaa, like a little bit. Like you see a lot of those anime that just kind of are like tangentially related to older Ghibli stuff, and it's definitely, I don't know how many people have actually seen that anime, but I don't know, maybe I could do a video about Green Legend Ron at some point. Okay, give me a second here. Hold on a second. A lot of crocodiles coming at me. Let's see. Were you talking about the Curse of Kazuo Umezu? Yeah. Like, the guy who made that anime, apparently he went to a bunch of animation studios over the years, and, like, nobody wanted to animate it for him. And even when he did basically finish the anime, I think there's, like, large portions of it are lost media, because, like, he was, like, unable to release the entire thing completely uncensored, because it's, like, that violent. I'm sure other people have covered it at this point. Like, if you know what I'm talking about, then odds are someone's already done a video on it. But, yeah, the Curse of Kazuo Uemezu. Probably butchering the pronunciation of it, but that's a violent one.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
What else we got here? Red Hood 777 donated again, man. Says, you answered my first question correctly. Sorry, sent it twice. What do you look for in an anime? I don't really look for anything in an anime. You know, if you've looked at my channel, I cover bad anime, I cover good anime, I cover bootleg anime, I cover things that aren't even anime. If it's anime, I'll watch it. You know, like even the worst anime of all time, like at least I had fun talking about Charge Man Ken. It's very, very bad, but it's so bad that it was fun to watch. There's very few anime that I'll watch and be like, well, that was a complete waste of time. Anime in general just tends to be really good. I don't know if that's me just having low standards, but I don't particularly look for anything in anime. If it's something I haven't seen, I'll give it a chance. I liked your new video. Any Gunbuster opinions? Gunbuster is fantastic. If you can find it, get the original release, because there's this song that they use in Gunbuster, right? I think in the first OVA. You know the song that I'm thinking of, right? Where there's the whole training montage with the robot doing, I guess it's a mecha, the mech doing push-ups and stuff. Later on, they replaced that music for some reason, so you want the very first version of Gunbuster. Another problem, completely separate problem, that I did not know for like a while. Did you know there's two dubs for Gunbuster? There's the original dub that uses all the original voice actors, right? And then for some reason, they re-released Gunbuster, and when they did it, they got all the voice actors back, but they're all like 20 years older, so like it sounds really, really, really weird. So if you can find like the original dub with the original music, where all the actors still sound like they're the ages of the characters that they were like hired to voice, then I would watch it that way. I don't know how you would do that, but Gunbuster has been through some changes. There's a lot of releases of it. Alright, let me catch up with the super chats before I go ahead and take a look at this new level. Red Hood says, okay, I already answered that. Neptune Cactus says, I liked your new video. Any Gunbuster opinions? Answered that. Okay, so I'm caught up. Now I can actually play the game. God. Alright. Banana. Apparently they lost the original sound mix for Gunbuster. This is one of the reasons why they never made an English dub. Yeah, I guess that was probably the reason. There's a lot of anime that have that issue. I don't know if you guys saw that video that I did on Aura Battler... No, sorry, not Aura Battler Dunbine. God, what is the other one I'm thinking of? You know, the Ryusuke Takahashi medieval mecha anime. Why do I keep blanking on it all the time? But Panzer World's Gallant. That's what I'm thinking of. Apparently, Panzer World's Gallant, they lost, like, all of the audio for it at some point. So when they were making the the Blu-ray for Panzer World's Gallant, they didn't have like the original audio mixes or something for the soundtrack, so they re-released the soundtrack. This is like a couple of years ago, right? And then they re-released it because the Blu-ray was coming out at the time. And then what happened was like a year later, they're like, oh hey, we actually have the soundtrack and all the audio mixed to it. But why? It was just sitting in a warehouse and we mislabeled it. So there's like a 2018 soundtrack for Panzer World's Gallant. And then there's like a 2019 soundtrack for Panzer World's Gallant. And in the 2018 version, they have like a disclaimer or something like that on the actual like CD. And it says something like, we didn't have the sound masters, so a lot of this music has like laser beam and explosion sound effects, and we're sorry. So like at least they found it eventually, but I always thought that was kind of funny because they're like, yeah, we don't have the thing that we're selling you anymore, so we just kind of sold it the way that we can. And I think they did that with a lot of Lupin the Third soundtracks too. There's a couple of soundtracks by Yuji Ono, the composer for most of the Lupin the Third anime, that has like a disclaimer that says, yeah, we don't have the music to this, we kind of Frankensteined it together by just, you know, taking the episode audio and like cutting it together as best as we could, sorry. So that does happen a lot of the time, and I guess maybe that was the case with Gunbuster too, where they just did not have the original voice clips, and if that's the reason why they had to completely redub it, I kind of understand. But yeah, Japanese studios in general just are not the best at keeping track of where their audio stuff is for some reason. But every once in a while you get lucky and they find it, like with Panzerworld Galleon, so... And like with the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA, you know, they just found the entire soundtrack. Apparently it was just sitting on some dude's hard drive, and they were like, hey, may I have the soundtrack to Sonic the Hedgehog, the anime, movie, the OVA? And some guy in Japan was like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. That's all it was. So not only are they not storing stuff properly, a lot of these anime companies, they don't even, like, the thought never even crosses their mind to, like, save any of it. Alright, let me catch up with Super Chats here. Rora Noel donated $5 through Super Chat. Rora says, do you know much about the Summit Media dub of Magical Knight Rayearth? I heard they did at least 13 episodes for Fox before being shelved. I am not aware of any English dub for Magical Knight Rayearth, but that's part of the magical girl mecha genre, which I really need to kind of be more in depth about. Like I've seen Escaflowne. I would say that's I guess that's not magical mecha, but it's part of that same general group. No, I've never heard of an English dub of Magical Knight Rayearth. If I ever do a video on that series, I'll sure to look into it. You know, that's a crappy answer, but never heard of it. Ross Wolf says, Zombieland Saga has a Skebon character in it, and the only reason that I had any understanding of what she was... Yeah, because she was literally a character from, like, the 1980s, like, that died and came back as a zombie, right? That's her whole entire... Her whole entire character arc is that she was a girl that died in the 80s. So, like, at least they can do that. I don't know why they can't just pretend that they still exist, you know? They really should be just bringing back Skebon characters. Why won't they do that? Diana Hawk donated $2. Absolutely no message from Diana Hawk for some reason, but I appreciate your donation. That'll get me like halfway to a VHS tape. They're very cheap. I don't know if you've looked into buying VHS tapes these days, but you can still find some pretty good deals for like $1 or $2. Super Saiyan Dude 100 donated $5, says, Yo Kenny, love that Golden Bat video. I could have talked about Golden Bat for like probably another 10 minutes, but I didn't know if the video should have been that long or not. There was this line that I wanted to have in the Golden Bat video that went something like, did you know that Golden Bat is in Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch? And he kind of is. There was a character in the Nintendo 3DS game, I think it's like Mii Fighter or the Mii Plaza or like something like that on the Nintendo 3DS called Gold Bone. You can look this up. Type in like 3DS Gold Bone, and it's literally Golden Bat as like a Nintendo Mii. And they put that character in Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch as a spirit battle. And when they put that character as a spirit battle in the Nintendo Switch, not only do you have like a Golden Bat looking character, but they gave the Avatar fight low gravity to make him fly, and they gave the character bat wings. Like, that's fantastic. So yeah, technically Golden Bat is in Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo Wii, for the Nintendo Switch. So there's Golden Bat just pops up all over the place. But yeah, you know, I had fun talking about Golden Bat. He's kind of everywhere. Thank you very much for the donation. Let's see. JD1989 donated another $5 through Super Chat. Says, Kenny, my friend, I'm heading off to bed. Keep up with the quality content, man. Much love, brother. I will try to make the next video longer. 8 minutes, 9 minutes or so is kind of short. The next video is going to be more of like a, how do I put this? Like a grab bag of a bunch of lost media. So, if you want to see a longer video that just has a bunch of lost media in it, it's not going to be a conventional review like the Elfie review was. Yeah, next video I would say is going to be more ambitious, and if you're into the stuff that I do, it's going to have a boatload of lost media and anecdotes and stories in it. So, I'm trying to branch out just a little bit. So, as long as you like what I do, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm not making any drastic changes or anything like that. So yeah, appreciate the support. Okay. Sorry, I'm pausing for a second. This music is so good. So, thank you very much, JD1989. Appreciate it, my man. Badre Bally says, Kenny, ever thought of doing a video on Salaryman Kintaro? Weird that it took a long time to get an anime adaptation after it was a live-action adaptation, including a film by Takeshi Miike. I said there's about 5 anime that are about Japanese businessmen that I could talk about. I don't know if anybody would watch them. It's the same sort of problem with like sumo anime. Like, I'll give you an example. If I did a video about an anime about sumo, I could do it. I don't know if anybody would watch it. There's certain things, subjects for anime that just people will not watch. I'll do a mecha video. Okay, I know not everybody likes mecha, but I'll do mecha video because like there are mecha fans out there. But how many fans of like sumo anime are there? How many mahjong anime fans are there out there? How many fans of Japanese salarymen anime are there out there? Where I don't want to do a video and have it get like 5,000 views because nobody's interested in it. As far as like stuff about Japanese salarymen and businessmen, I could do maybe like a spotlight video with like 5 of them or something like that. Yeah, Akagi is amazing, but nobody knows how to play, mahjong. They're not gonna understand, what a ran is or a richi is. I can't talk about Akagi because it kind of falls on knowing what mahjong is in the first place. So apparently we got a Patreon donation. I don't know who it was or for how much it was, but I can look it up. Give me a second here. Second. Yeah, so like in general, it's just like a problem. I don't know. Okay, it was Glenn Lopez donated $1 through Patreon. After the stream is done, I will send you an invite to the Discord. Sorry that I didn't get into the question. I was talking about how nobody likes sumo anime. Maybe I'll just do it. I don't care. People should be watching sumo anime. There's some legitimately good anime about sumo out there, and like I gotta cover all my genres at least once, right? The problem is just like people just generally they hear sumo, mahjong. Well, what do you got an anime about Japanese businessmen? They don't want to hear about it, which is a shame, but hopefully I can fix that at some point.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? You could
okay,
do
hold
that,
on a second. How am I supposed to do this?
Why would you
that
do
takes me back this way.
You could do that.
That takes me this way. Okay, so I can't go that way. Go up left. Okay, go that way. Okay, let's see. Do I want to go left or right here? Okay. Alright, so this is the way I think I have to go. I have to go left. Okay. This way. This way. Okay, I think... Hold on. Okay. Go this way. Go that way.
You could do that.
Alright, hold on a second.
Why would you
go
do
that way.
Why would you do any of that? You could
go that
do
way.
But why?
Hey, there we go. I got it. I figured out the
the
mystery of the Donkey Kong barrel.
You could do that.
Okay, sorry. Let me catch up with these super chats, guys. You gotta stop giving me money for like 5 minutes so I can figure out how to get through these barrels. What else we got here? Messages. Here we go. Super Saiyan Dude 100 says, can he please do more mecha anime? I will. I will at some point. It's got to be something that people will actually watch, and maybe I'm hoping the channel gets big enough where I can just be like, hey, I'm gonna do a video on Video Warrior Laserion, and I don't care if it's gonna get views or not. But I gotta choose what I talk about very, very specifically, because I'll give you an example. There's a YouTube channel about a YouTuber goes by Red Bard. Red Bard did a video about Macross 7 and how awesome Macross 7 is. Got like no views because people just generally don't like positive videos for some reason. They want to hear the worst anime of all time. They don't want to hear about how awesome Macross 7 is. And it's a shame, but you gotta pick an anime that people are actually gonna hear you talk about, and I hate to say that. Eventually at some point, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I don't care if anybody watches this at all. I used to do that with what did I did? I did that video on Giant Gorg. Nobody really watched it. I did a video on Panzerworld Gallant. Nobody really watched it. Maybe I'll do a video about something like Dogram at some point. I'll cover some mecha stuff. I just don't know when. But it is coming. It'll happen. I've got a bunch of like scripts that are kind of like, I don't want to say pre-made, but they're like half written up about mecha anime, so it just depends on what I find that's really interesting. I like to incorporate mecha whenever I can. Like I wanted to do a video about Creamy Mommy, but I'm like, Creamy Mommy doesn't have anything to do with mecha. And I was like, oh crap. I found out about Pony Metal Ugaim. I'm like, all right, well now I can work in some mecha stuff into this magical girl video. So if I can kind of maybe trick people into watching a mecha video, I'll do it that way. I was really surprised that video on Dragon's Heaven did so well. So maybe I'm just second guessing myself here. So yes, to answer your question, I'll do more mecha stuff eventually. I don't know when. There's stuff I got in the pipeline. It's just gotta feel right. You know what I mean? Let's see. Super Saiyan Dude said more mecha. Okay. Meow Nyan donated $7 Canadian. Says not anime, but any chance to cover the live-action Gunhead or early Jinro movies. Maybe Gunhead at some point. It's kind of like Dragon's Heaven, where it's like real-life models with. I don't know if there's any plastic modeling in Gunhead, but it's like tangentially related. So maybe Gunhead. As far as the Jinro movies, probably not. I mean, there's so many people who have talked about Jinro. Like, I guarantee you there's people who have talked about Jinro already on the internet. I like talking about the stuff that literally nobody has talked about. Not only because it's a lot less stressful, but because, there should have been a video about Coral Reef legend Elfie of the Blue Sea, as an example. I kind of try and prioritize stuff that hasn't been covered at all, you know what I mean? How many videos about Jinro are there in comparison to, Coral Reef Legend? Let's see, Aurora Morasso pledged $2 via Patreon. Thank you very much. I will send you a Discord invite after the stream is over. I figure I probably got another 30 minutes to an hour in me. It depends on how long this coffee lasts me. Give me a second, I gotta actually save in this video game. Save game free. That's a good price, free.
You could do that.
Alright, let me go ahead and scroll up.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? You could do that, but why?
Okay, what do we got? What do we got?
You could do that.
Okay, I think am I caught up or not? Hold on. Red Hood says, comics don't make money anymore and manga is flourishing. What do you think comic book companies can learn from manga creators and companies? I would say maybe try and, diversify how many subjects the comics are. When I think of comic books, I think of, superhero comics. And I know there's other comic genres out there, but I feel like just comic books in general have this image in people's heads that they're all just about superheroes for some reason. Manga on the other hand, there's manga about cooking, there's manga about slice of life stories and romances, and you know, you can find a manga about basically anything, I would say, these days. But you know, it's just people just don't expect to find diverse genres in comic books. Does that make sense? Is that crazy to say that most people think comic books are just about superheroes? Because that's what I think is going on. You know, with manga, it could be about anything. You got manga like Toriko. Toriko is a shonen series that's about cooking. You know, but like, where is the comic book about beating people up with food? You know what I mean? You know, it's just like manga does things that comic books just don't do, and I think people tend to like manga more because it's willing to maybe take more risks. You know, I could just be, you know, talking out of complete ignorance here, because honestly, I don't read a lot of comics. But that's, you know, in my heart of hearts, that's what I feel. You know, people tend to just think that comic books don't have a lot to offer. You know, that's how I feel about it. Alright, come on. And maybe part of that is due to that whole... Do you guys know about, like, the comic authority code that they had, like, from the 1960s? Like, comic books in general got, you know, really, really... I don't want to say censored in America at some point, but they had this, like, set of rules where American comic books could only... you know, cover certain subject matter and stuff like that, and manga just never had that. So, you know, in a way, comic books kind of never recovered from the limitations that they had in America when they were going through that 60s, 70s era where, like, every single comic was Archie's or, like, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And don't get me wrong, I like my Archie Jughead comics, but, like, comic books kind of almost didn't really exist for, like, a couple of decades, right? So to answer your question, I don't know. Let's see here. What I got? Okay, let's see. Super Saiyan Dude says, honestly, I'd like to hear a video of your hot take on Harmony Gold and how they basically screwed over one of the biggest mecha series. What, you're talking about Macross and Robotech, right? You're talking about that whole situation. You know, say what you will about Harmony Gold. They did make honest, earnest attempts at bringing anime to America during the 80s and 90s. And, you know, they tried, and it didn't really work out. But they were good, I would say, up through the 90s. You know, you had, at that point, you know, you had Macross Plus got an English dub. You know, hell, Macross in general has a DVD release with, like, an English dub, doesn't it? It wasn't until, like, the 2000s or so where they started really being, like, being protective of their copyright stuff. And, you know, people look at Harmony Gold as this copyright holding monster, but they were putting out a lot of interesting stuff back in the day. At least they were trying to bring over, like, Dragon Ball and Minky Momo and stuff like that to different markets. You know, other people weren't jumping on that at the time. It's only now with Foresight where we can be like, oh yeah, Harmony Gold is horrible because they won't allow us to have a Blu-ray box set of Macross, you know what I mean? But they were doing some interesting stuff. They tried. At least they tried. What else we got here? Okay, good. I caught up. Sadly, they aren't really evil when it comes to handling the rights for those localized anime. They pretty much cock-blocked anything related to Macross during Super Robot War games. Yeah, but that was like later on. They didn't care in the 90s. We wouldn't have gotten an English version of Macross Plus if they cared at that time. Harmony's time is over, yeah. The golden age of Harmony Gold is over. Let's see, SDFM. Do you remember Love is the best ever? It's pretty damn good, I'll tell you that. Speedy Home Video, man. They were Malaysian-based dub. Oh, what, the Speedy dubs? You're talking about, like, the Philippines and Malaysian English dubs that they didn't think, like, anybody would ever have home recordings of, right? like Dragon Ball and stuff like that. There's a speedy dub of Video Warrior Laserion now that I think about it. Let's see, it's not all Harmony Gold. There are multiple Japanese companies with rights to Macross who hate each other. I think that's the same problem with Dogram also, right? Like, they don't want to release Dogram again in any, you know, even in Japan, there's no DVD box set of Dogram, I don't think, or at least there's not a Blu-ray of it, because it's tied up in that, God, what is that one mecha miniature, you know, tabletop game that uses toys from, was it models from Dogram? What am I thinking of? Was it BattleTech or something like that? You know, there's a bunch of toy companies and like tabletop game companies that happen to own like individual rights for all of these mecha anime, just because like back in the day they were releasing toys that had nothing to do with the anime.
Why would you do any of that?
Like you had stuff like I'll give you an example.
Why would you do any of that?
What was it? Was it GoBots that sued like there's this Japanese cartoon. Well, I guess it's a cartoon, right? Called like the Mighty Orbots that was sued by the GoBot people because like they wanted to put out toys that were based on, I think it was like God Mars or something like that, and they ended up getting sued into the ground. And like a lot of these old Japanese mecha toy lawsuits are still like on the books, and I think like Dogram is caught up in some sort of legal battle where they can't re-release it. Yeah, Machine Robo too, right? So yeah, there's all sorts of weird legal stuff that just stops a lot of these anime from ever getting re-released, and Macross and Robotech happens to be one of those series, unfortunately. Yeah, but I mean anime that haven't been made yet. Okay, hold on, I'm just trying to scroll up a bit here. Psychic Tiger donated $1. Thank you very much, Psychic Tiger. Appreciate the $1. Let's see, here's hoping Funimation buys the rights from Harmony Gold. Yeah, I went there. Harmony Gold is basically just like a rights holding company now, right? What do they even do? They're like a real estate company now, right? Yeah, I have no idea. I just realized I have no idea what Harmony Gold even is as a company anymore. That's a sobering thought. I think they're a real estate company now. I haven't done like ridiculous amounts of research into Harmony Gold. It's a very multifaceted problem, all the rights that they hold and like how they stay in business. I don't know why they still have the rights to Macross in the first place. You would think like it was supposed to run out, and so whoever owns Macross was like, oh yeah, you want to keep making Robotech? Fine, no problem. So they own the rights to Macross now for like the next 20 years, and it'll probably get renewed again, apparently. Weird legal situation. Let's see, what else we got here? Capcom made anime before with Street Fighter. 4Kids did some stuff too, but at least they went peacefully. Is Kiryu running Harmony Gold? Maybe. Were you talking about the Yakuza guys? 30 years, not 20? Yeah, exactly. 30 years, even longer than that. I'll be in my 60s by the time Harmony Gold's stranglehold on Macross runs out. That's depressing. Alright, spider time. Let's see here. I want a Darkstalkers revival. On Wikipedia, it's mentioned that they managed real estate in South California. Yeah, there we go. So I was right. I was going from memory, and they are actually just a real estate company that happens to own Macross now. I don't know how that happened. Somebody explain how that happened. Man, no respect for Harmony, none. I don't know. They released some good stuff. I appreciate what they did in the 80s and 90s. Anything that they've done in the past 10 to 20 years, though, I disavow. Let's see, rest in peace, Funimation's reputation. Yeah, Funimation used to do good stuff too, and now they're just, they're not what they used to be. Real estate weebs. would you buy a house from a company called Real Estate Weebs? Like, if you were driving through some, like, neighborhood and you saw a sign that said for sale, and it was just like, you know how they have, like, the little picture of the person who's the real estate agent? What if it was just some cute anime girl and it said sold by Real Estate Weebs? Would you buy that house if you were given the chance? I don't know. I think I might. Let's see. I don't trust Funimation with anything not after the incident. Hell no, I wouldn't do that. Absolutely. Depends on what cute anime girl is on the real estate poster. Lupus Albus says, Florida has an entire town that is real estate weebs. Is it really? Get out of town. That can't be real. I just made that up. That can't be reality. No way is that real. I will look into that, but if it's real, then I gotta address that at some point. Yeah, in a heartbeat. All right. Let's see, what happened with Funimation? You know, they've been doing some shady stuff. Let's put it that way. I don't like to talk about drama. Talking about Harmony Gold is about as dramatic as you're gonna get out of me. But all I have to say is keep buying your DVDs and keep buying your Blu-rays. Have physical copies of stuff. Let's see, it's Florida. What do you expect? Hey man, you know, you giving Florida a bad rap. You know, Florida's pretty good. It's got fishing and NASCAR and, you know, warm weather sometimes. It's okay. Let's see. Red Hood 777 says, do you play new video games, and if so, PS5 or the X series? No. I stopped buying new consoles. I mean, like, I own a Switch, but is that really a console? I mean, it's a handheld and a console. I suppose it's both. I have a 360, a PS3, and a Nintendo Switch. That's the most you're gonna get out of me.
Do that.
Never bought a PS4, never bought a PS5, not gonna get an Xbox One. You know, I don't see the point. Literally right now I'm playing Donkey Kong Country 2 on a tube TV. So, you know, I watch anime on VHS. I'm not the target market for the PlayStation 5. Other people, you know, if that's your thing, go ahead and buy PS5. Go ahead and buy a Xbox Series X or whatever they're calling it. But that is not for me. I just don't care. They don't have the games that I want. I own an Xbox 360 almost completely for 2D shmups, for 2D cave shooters, and that's about the most modern thing that you're gonna get out of me. All right. Whoa. All right, I gotta pay attention here. If I screw this up. Oh, I screwed up. Well, at least I got the one up. Let me go ahead and catch up with the chat. Do you have a favorite Gundam? I would say maybe the Death Scythe and whatever Chibbity Crockett, you know, piloted in G Gundam. You know, the America Gundam with the boxing gloves and the surfboard. Like, God, I love the designs in G Gundam. They are so goofy. G Gundam is like the Street Fighter 2 of mecha. It is so cheesy that I have to love it. Gotta love G Gundam. You know, there's Gundam fans that are like, G Gundam is stupid.
You could do that.
And I like G Gundam for the exact same reason that I like Macross 7.
You could do that.
You know, mecha anime, it doesn't always have to be politically driven like some of the original Gundam. They don't always have to be war stories. Sometimes you just want to see a giant robot with boxing gloves beat up a robot that's wearing a, you know, Mexican sombrero from a place called Space Mexico. Sometimes you want to just see ridiculous, goofy stuff like that. And, you know, those designs from G Gundam are just... From what I understand, they made them basically as a joke, because, like, the guys who were working on G Gundam clearly did not enjoy it. But at the same time, they were just doing whatever the hell they wanted. So you gotta love G Gundam for being different. What else we got here? God, I was getting so many donations. Hold on a second. Let me scroll up a bit.
You could do that.
Okay, Red Hood says, do you play new video games? No! New video games are not for me. Next question. Bubblegum Gun says, retro always wins, the anime snob. Here's the thing with retro stuff, whether it's anime or video games or music, at least, like, you have the foresight to be able to judge it. With a brand new video game, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, and then, you know, I'm not paying $70 for some video game that I don't even know if it's gonna be good, where I gotta be connected to the internet just to play it, and the online servers for the game might go down like a year later. There's just so much stupid stuff with modern video gaming. It's not for me. Why would I play whatever video game just came out when I could be playing Donkey Kong Country 2, streaming it to however many streamers there are, people there are, and just having a good time, you know what I mean? Okay. What else we got going on here? Current viewers, 0. Hold on, did the stream cut out? Give me a second here. Are you guys still seeing the stream? Hold on a second, that can't be right. No, stream is still up, but for some reason YouTube does not know what it's talking about. Thank you, YouTube, for telling me that I had 0 people watching me for a couple of seconds. That wasn't scary at all. Okay, so Bubblegum Gun donated $2, says Retro always wins. Yeah, in general. I mean, what are you gonna do? What would you rather have? If somebody gave you $100, right? And they said, I'm gonna give you $100, you can have 25 VHS tapes or something like that, or would you rather spend $100 on like 2 Blu-ray box sets of 2 anime? It's a better way to spend your money to buy old stuff because it's cheaper, but like you got less chances of getting burned. You know what I mean? Mathias donated $5 Canadian, says, with VTubers taking over the jobs of streamers, who's to say they won't move into real estate? Oh my god, is that the end game? Have we figured it out? Are the VTubers gonna start selling real estate on the west side? Is that where it's going now? Don't tell the VTubers that they can get into real estate and start selling people houses. They can't know. This has to be hidden information. They can't this can't get out. If they know that they can start selling real estate, then the world is over as we know it. Okay, Nintendo Wii donated $5. Nintendo Wii says, one modern game that I think that you would like is 13 Sentinels. It's one of the tower defense mecha, one part visual novel, Vanillaware awesomeness. I really should play, what was it, Princess Crown, that Sega Saturn game that they did, that got released on PSP only in Japan and Sega Saturn and nowhere else for some reason. That's a game that I really wanted to play, because that's like the precursor to Dragon's Crown on the PlayStation 3, which probably has like another re-release that I'm not aware of by now. It's probably on like PS4. But yeah, the prequel to Dragon's Crown is something that I have been wanting to play for a while, and I just have not sat down and modded my Sega Saturn to play it. Maybe that's something I should stream one of these days. Thank you very much for the donation, Nintendo Wii. Appreciate it. Put that towards another VHS tape.
Why would you do that? Why would you do anything?
Okay.
You could do that.
Red Hood 777 donated $5, says, thoughts on live action movies based on anime and video games, and what do you think they could do to improve if you think that's even possible? You know what live action anime I liked? Are you guys familiar with Zerem or Zeram? I don't know how you pronounce that, but it was by the creator of Garo. And I'm blanking on his name right now, but it was one of his very first movies, and there's 2 live-action Zerem movies that are just like fantastic. The first one more so than the second one, but they're all done with practical effects because they were done in the 90s. You know, they had plastic models to them. They had just all sorts of artistry to them. When you want to make like a anime in 3D, I kind of don't care about it. 3D Ghost in the Shell, But if you were to do like a combination, maybe like well, I guess they did a live action Ghost in the Shell. Let me think. In order for me to like a live action anime, it's got to have a bunch of plastic models in it, is what I guess I'm trying to say. I liked Zerem, the movie, and Zerem 2 to a lesser extent. That's my answer. Same reason I like Gunhead. It just looks cool. You know what I mean? I'm so much more impressed by live action models than I am impressed with like something like that live action Ghost in the Shell movie. You know what I mean? Because it's the same reason why I don't think like modern horror movies tend to work so well, because for some reason, like your brain, it's that uncanny valley feeling where it's like your brain knows when you're seeing CG for some reason. But when you see like a physical guy in a suit, like in a Godzilla film or something like that, if for some reason your brain shuts off and is like, oh hey, I'm gonna use my imagination a little bit right now. When they try and make anime movies just too realistic, for some reason I think there's that disconnect where your brain is like, oh well, that doesn't look like anime, and you end up just like not enjoying it subconsciously. I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to say, but just generally, I don't know why. Maybe it's a subconscious thing where my brain is like, I don't like live action anime. Because you look at like, what was it, Dragon Ball Evolution. That movie wasn't really bad because it was a bad Dragon Ball adaptation, which it was. Dragon Ball Evolution is horrendously bad. But the reason that you don't like it is because it doesn't feel like anime. Does that make sense to you? I should probably try and articulate my thoughts a little bit more and have less than 10 coffees going into this discussion. But just off the top of my head. Red Hood answered your question. Meownyan donated $7 Canadian. And Meownyan says, any truth in Tomino trying to sabotage his own works? Well, let me think. You know, some people say that, like, ZZ Gundam, for example, you know, the opening theme to ZZ Gundam is Anime Janai. Literally, it is not anime. This is not anime, is the theme song to ZZ Gundam. And some people look at that and are like, well, what is Tomino trying to do? Is he trying to have, like, a message where he doesn't like anime? And then you have, like, stuff like, what was the Gundam series that has the Haro at the end of it with the Mickey Mouse ears? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's an ending to a Gundam series where they have the little green ball robot Haro have Mickey Mouse ears, and I think specifically that Gundam, and I can't remember the name of the series, was at a time where Tomino was probably in a bad place, and that ended up leading into stuff like Garzy's Wing, which I suppose technically is like a part of the Aura Battler Dunbine universe.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
I think it was because like they were switching companies, right? Wasn't it like Bandai wanted him to make more toys and more characters, and that's why like at the end of ZZ Gundam they start just killing characters off like crazy. You know, you can draw your own conclusions. He does tend to kill characters every once in a while, but it's not like it's in every single anime that he's ever done. To answer your question, I don't know. He likes to kill characters. Apparently, you know, here's the thing. It's just like, you know, you look at Chargeman Ken. Characters die in Chargeman Ken, but that's just because it's like, that's a 70s anime. That's just what they did back then. And you know, Tomino, he's just from that stock of older directors, writers, where he was like, you know what? I'm gonna kill off my anime characters. I can, so I will. And you gotta kind of respect him for that. It doesn't always work, but you know, where else are you gonna find a mecha anime where like half the cast dies towards the end? You know what I mean? So you know, you can knock Tomino all you want, but at least he does things a little bit different, you know. Let's see here. Any truth in him trying to sabotage the anime? I don't know. There's little bits of information you can kind of glean from what he does and how he names things. You could draw your own conclusions. Ross Wolf donated $5 through Super Chat. Let me get some water here for a second, Ross. Okay, so Ross Wolf donated 5, says, found a great TV VCR combo this summer. Amazing how much better VHS looks on a tube TV than it does digitized and on a high definition monitor. Well, you know, for digitization of VHS tapes is a very multifaceted thing. It could be you're not using the right capture card. It could be you're not using the right deinterlacing algorithm in order to properly combine the image when you're making your VHS rips. Or it could be, you know, it's just not a good idea to be watching VHS on a HD TV. There's a lot of reasons VHS doesn't look all that good. But, look at my video on Coral Reef Legend, Elfie of the Blue Sea. I digitized that tape. I think it looks pretty good. It's not, like, HD by any means. But, people give VHS a bad rap. And I don't blame them. You gotta have the right VCR, you gotta have the right chords, you gotta have the right time-based corrector, you gotta have the right capture card, you gotta know how to color correct, you gotta know how to de-interlace. It's just like, all that work just to watch anime on VHS on YouTube, most people probably aren't gonna go to those lengths. But I'm just one of those crazy people who wants VHS tapes to look as good as they possibly can. But there are some things, as long as you have the correct setup, you can make VHS look, almost DVD quality in some cases. But you gotta know what you're doing, and a lot of the problem with it is, like, a lot of that equipment is just getting so hard to find. Like, just finding a good VCR is one thing, but finding a good VCR that still works is just like a monumental task now these days. The last VCR that I bought, I ended up having to return because I ordered this JVC SVHS deck in the mail. I ordered this VCR. I was like, oh, this is an amazing deal. It was like a $300 VCR that I got for like $80, right? I order it. I open up the package and I plug the VCR in. I'm like, why is this VCR not working? I paid like $80 for it, right? I opened up the flap to the VCR and it just threw up a bunch of plastic pieces, cogs, little tiny pieces of metal. Apparently, the VCR was manhandled so badly in the postal service that it just kind of like threw up its guts. So it's like, not only do you have to find a VCR, you have to cross your fingers that the person who's selling it to you properly packaged the thing, and it's just a hell of a thing to even find a good VCR that works these days. It's not getting any easier, I'll tell you that much. Thank you very much for the donation. Hope you enjoyed that little tangent that I went on. But yeah, finding a good VCR and playing it on Tube TV is the way to go if you can pull it off. What else we got here? William Harris donated $5. William Harris says, what's your opinion on retro anime inspired music, future funk, vaporwave, etc.? Macross 8299 albums A Million Miles Away is one of my favorites. If it's done correctly, it can be good. I tend to not listen to that stuff. There's a good channel on YouTube, Marty McFly's version 2. Is a YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and link you guys. He's got anime soundtracks on his channel that like aren't even documented. Like, why would you listen to anime tribute albums when you could listen to actual anime music that no one's ever listened to? Let me go ahead and pull that up on my anime channel here. Okay, let me go ahead and give you guys a link. So anyway, my stance on that is, why would you be listening to like imitation anime music when there are literally like thousands of anime albums that no one talks about, no one's heard? You could be listening to actual 80s anime music is my point. That doesn't mean it doesn't have a place. Some of it is really, really good. But in general, I just like listening to random records from like the 70s and 80s, because, that's as authentic as it gets. And a lot of that stuff is just on the internet because it's never been re-released and nobody cares about it. So sky's the limit as far as listening to old anime records, right? All right. Let me pause here. Red Hood 777 donated another $5, says, I was born in the late 90s, my mistake. So it's great to see someone talking about anime before my time. No other channel is so invested in older anime. More, please. Well, I'll keep doing videos. As long as you guys are still interested and you're not bored about what I'm doing, then I'll keep doing videos. I started doing these videos because it was stuff that I was interested in. I was like, how have people not seen Armor Hunter Mellow Link and Dragon's Heaven? And it just kind of, you know, exploded from that point on. And if people are still interested in the stuff that I'm interested in, then, you know, everybody wins. Because I'm talking about stuff I want to talk about, and people are like, oh, cool. This is something that maybe I'm interested in. It's not always the best anime. Sometimes it's something like Charge Man Ken or Girl Detective Club, or like, you know, God forbid, some other anime that I have to talk about now because you guys voted for the next video. You want me to talk about something worse than Charge Man Ken. I'm not sure if I could even find something on that level, but I'll try. I'll try. No, you know, cross your fingers. But, you know, if you guys are still interested, I'll keep doing what I do. Let's see, what else we got here? Okay, I could have sworn I heard another super chat. Okay, as long as I didn't miss a message. Stream for a couple of hours? Yes, that is what I am attempting to do. I think I'll probably end the stream right after this world. Maybe we could pick it up tomorrow or something if I've got time. More than 2 streams is probably not something I want to do. You know, you don't want to stream too much. Like 2 is probably my limit. I don't know. If you guys are still interested in talking about anime tomorrow, I could do another stream, but you know, I'm in it for like 2 streams per anime video, so you know, I don't want to outlive my welcome. Okay, come on. Go. All right. I want that Donkey Kong coin. A little bit more. Got it. Okay, what else we got going here? Let's see, we're always interested in chatting with you, Kenny. Well, that's very kind of you to say. Let's see, Snarkmark says, I watch you because you like the retro anime that you talk about. Other chumps only talk about retro anime to hate on it. Well, here's the thing, like, I don't want to be cringy, right? You know, I made fun of Charge Man Ken because it's like literally a legendarily bad anime to the point where it like boomeranged around and all of a sudden it's like Japan's #1 anime, right? If it's not on that level, or maybe something like Girl Detective Club where it doesn't have a club in it and there's no detective work, you know, if it's not on that level, I'm probably not gonna make fun of it. But like, how many legendarily bad anime really are there out there? I agree, there are some anime channels where they'll talk about an old anime and, you know, they'll look at something that isn't even all that bad and they'll be like, oh, this is stupid, and they'll just make fun of it. I understand, that's cringy, but you know, sometimes there is something like Twinkle Nora Rock Me just kind of sitting out there on a laserdisc and you look at it and you're like, this needs to be discussed. So let's see, you killed Kenny, you bastards. What? Okay, hold on a second here. Most Knack productions are kind of bad. You know, I would say Knack gets a bad rap, but there are some things that they've done that are kind of questionable. I enjoy me some Attacker U. You know, it's not a perfect volleyball anime, but it's pretty good, I would say. You know, it's no Glass Mask, but you know, I enjoy it. Let's see, Charge Man Ken the movie, Twinkle Nora Rock Me vs. Charge Man Ken, guest appearance by Revenge of Dr. Volta. Knack 2, baby! What else we got? Volkov says, Kenny, I gotta say, I absolutely love your channel. It's so cool that you go hold on a second here, that you go in such depth on all of this lost media. Between you and LGR, you guys have a love of what you talk about. You know, someone asked me earlier, what do I look for in retro anime? And like I said, I don't look for anything. If I have not seen an anime, I'll give it a chance. I gave Twinkle Nora Rock Me a chance, and it ended up being one of the worst anime of all time. You know, it's not always gonna be like that.
Why would you
know, in general, I would say almost all anime are pretty good. Is that a naive thing to say, that most anime are pretty good? Can I say that? I feel like that's like the least controversial opinion I could possibly have. I was hoping I wouldn't get hit. I was hoping I was in between the two enemies. All right, come on. There we go. All right, pause this. Let's see, what else we got? The Snake Hat donated $7. Thank you very much. The Snake Hat donated and said, weird how I didn't get a notification for your Coral Reef Legend video. Well, you know, let's discuss that for a second. Show of hands in the chat. How many people here know that I did a video a week ago. I reviewed a brand new anime that's never been talked about on YouTube. And how many of you guys actually got notifications and watched it? I'm genuinely curious. I thought the video wasn't that good, and that's why it doesn't have that many views. But it could be that YouTube just didn't send out notifications for that video for some reason. There we go. Got me and my Dixie Kong back. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe YouTube was like, people don't want to watch this video. I don't know how the YouTube algorithm works. Maybe it was a little too short or something like that, so it didn't get pushed out to people. I have no idea why that video doesn't have a lot of views. But you know what's cool? You guys can tell me maybe it's a bad video. You know, at least be honest. If it's not good, I'll try and make a longer one or something. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed making it. You know, it's not the best anime of all time, but it definitely deserves at least one video, right? Okay, what else we got here?
She could do that.
I think there was another donation. Here we go. Marvin Gabriel says, I love all the videos you make, Kenny. Zerfspec is another great Japanese music channel. Uploads almost daily lesser known 70s or 80s Japanese music. I will look into that channel. I always love listening to 1980s, 70s, even 60s albums that I haven't heard before. Oh, excuse me. Alright. Let's see, we got another super chat from Eln Yaya. Eln Yanya, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, says, hey Kenny, what else you gotta say on Twinkle Nora Rock Me? Like, how many frames of animation were there? I also need more tough schoolgirl anime. You know, it's really only those two scenes, right? It's the opening to the anime and that dance sequence, but there is some weird stuff that's going on. There are, like, certain screenshots that I could take of that anime where you'd be like, well, I never noticed that before. It's just full of really weirdly drawn anime. I have no idea how it even got made, to tell you the truth. I've said basically everything I can say about it. What is something you guys don't know about Twinkle Nora Rock Me? Okay, here's a bit of trivia about Twinkle Nora Rock Me. Did you know some of the music for Twinkle Nora Rock Me shows up in a Japanese anime hentai? Did you know that? I don't know why, but they must have contacted some of the musicians from Twinkle Nora Rock Me, and they needed some very, very cheap music for an anime, for like an erotic anime, because apparently, music from Twinkle Nora Rock Me does show up legitimately in a very, very poorly animated hentai. I can't tell you what it is on the stream, but like, trust me, it exists. So that's a little bit of trivia for you, I guess. There's very little you can say about Twinkle Nora Rock Me. You can really only just kind of speculate why it exists, why it was animated the way that it was. It's a hell of a thing to exist. Let's see here. I wonder if anybody had the OVA and the hentai and couldn't enjoy the later because of bad memories. Probably not. Okay. I'd give you a title, but it's in Japanese, so I couldn't tell you what it is, even if I wanted to. How do I know that? Because it has very bad animation, and somebody on Twitter was like, hey, did you know there's an anime that has worse animation than Twinkle Nora Rock Me? And I found out that it wasn't even an anime. It was like a visual novel that they put on VHS. And that was legitimately a thing that they did for a little while. They would do visual novels on VHS and just kind of have voice work over still images. I don't even think they count as anime, to tell you the truth. They're called, what are they called? It's like one step above Japanese paper theater and anime. I think it's called like a CMV, comic motion video. Go ahead and look up what a CMV is. It's not even anime. It's just like, it's drawn pieces of anime art with voiceover artwork. That's all it is. That's the only way I can even describe it. Okay, my voice is starting to give out. I am going to do this last level, and then I'm gonna call it a night, guys. What do we got going on here? Alright. $5 super chat, 5 Australian dollars, my mistake. Okay, from Zager. Zager says, have you watched anything from Tsukasa Hojo, like Cat's Eye or City Hunter? Yes, I have.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
From what I remember, there's a technology channel on YouTube called Techmoan. Are you guys familiar with Techmoan at all? Techmoan did a video about like some handheld karaoke machine recently, and it had the theme music to Cat's Eye on it. And I never thought I would see a channel like Techmoan do like karaoke for the Cat's Eye theme, but that was the most recent thing that I remember about Cat's Eye. And I think that was it Cat's Eye or that had a live action movie recently, or was it am I thinking of City Hunter? No, it was City Hunter. City Hunter had that French live action movie. I have no idea if it's good. Somebody tell me if the live action City Hunter was decent, because they did make that recently. Let me see here. All right, I'm caught up here. Did somebody just ask me if I'm on Twitch? No, I have a Twitch account, but I'm not on it. I ended up, I got banned. I ended up streaming, as my first Twitch stream, I ended up streaming God Hand on the Artifact channel, and they banned me. Apparently you can't do that. So, no, I'm not on Twitch. Alright, come on. Oh, you kidding me. So close, so close. Jackie Chan is gold. Let's see, do you talk about Nageroboshi Gin? No, I have not. Twitch doesn't like good games. Well, here's the thing, like, I didn't understand how Twitch worked. Apparently, like, you have specific channels for specific video games, which is, like, weird to me, right? If I want to stream Donkey Kong Country 2 and nobody is looking up streams of Donkey Kong Country 2, like, no one's going to watch it. It's not like YouTube, you know? People are subscribed here on YouTube, and that's where you guys can find me. You know, that's where my audience is, so, you know, I see no reason to start up a Twitch channel. You know, you guys aren't here for that, and I barely do the streams anyway in the first place, so, you know, it's like, what's the point, right? Whoa. Come on. Oh, come on. Alright. Gotta focus. Sorry I'm not paying attention to chat here. This is surprisingly hard boss for a Super Nintendo game. Alright. A bit more. Oh, come on. Alright. I just need to back off and hit all the zingers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's still not over. Hold on. Alright, one more hit. One more hit. Got it, finally. Whew. Okay, so what was that, like 2 hours or something like that? It felt like a couple of hours that I was streaming. What else we got going on in the chat? If anybody has any other questions before I close this up, I think I might do a stream tomorrow, maybe. I don't like doing more than like a stream or two per, you know, per anime video. But, I don't know. Might do it tomorrow. Let me go ahead and save here. Favorite cyberpunk anime? Don't have one. Let's see. Great stream, Kenny. Who let the dogs out? Let's see. Joel Paparaki says, anything odd to say about Crusher Joe? Crusher Joe has an English dub that was only released in Europe called Crushers. I've been looking for that tape for, I want to say, like 3 years now. If somebody in the chat knows where I can get the European English dub of Crusher Joe called Crushers, I will buy that from you. I need it in my life. That's the most interesting thing that I have to say about Crusher Joe. Fantastic series, both the OVA and the movie. Let me see here. Who let the dogs out? Fred Laguette says, you have to wonder if Ridley Scott was inspired by Elfin Lied when he directed the first episode of Raised by Wolves.
Why would you do that?
Let's see. Blast Pipes ZJ says, Tails, You're my
would you
real
do that? Why
life
would you do
friend.
any of that?
Hey, listen,
You
if
could
you
do
were
that.
in the area, I wouldn't mind like watching some VHS tapes with you guys, but it's kind of impossible. Me being here talking to you through YouTube is like the closest you can get to just hanging out and watching some tapes. Lupus Albus, whoa, $50. You sure you want to donate that, man? That is a lot of money. So Lupus Albus says, since you don't do these much, love what you do. Well, thank you very much. I might do one more stream tomorrow. You know, like I said, I tend to not want to do too many of them. I'm not a streamer. You know, I talk about anime on VHS. That's what I do. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. That'll help you know, make ends meet. Appreciate that. Hold on, I'm trying to exit the level. Are you not allowed to do that from here? Hold on, I saved. Where's the funky flights? There we go. That's what I wanted to do. But yeah, wow, $50. Thank you. Let's see. Tori Nato Deans, Canadian $20. Whoa, no message, but wow, thank you. I will buy some VHS tapes with that. Thank you very, very much. The Ant-Man channel says you deserve it, Kenny. David Saber says you do get revenue from your videos. Chargeman Ken is on its way to reaching 1 million. I hope they keep sending him your way. Speaking of which, watching VHS, where you at? That would be awesome. I'm not about to dox myself, but if you can tell from the last name of my channel, I'm somewhere in Florida. Let's see. Loco Baboom says, would kind of be cool if you could stream a few anime from your collection with us. You know, YouTube tends to not like it when you stream anime on their platform. I'm not saying I wouldn't like it to stream anime on YouTube, but you kind of can't. It's not a thing that they like you to do. Okay, so that's the end of the stream. I thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't seen my video on Coral Reef Legend, Elfie of the Blue Sea, I'm going to go ahead and give you a direct link because, you know, if it's not getting recommended to you or you didn't get the notifications, the easiest way that I can get you guys to watch this is just to give you a link, okay? Let's see. Okay, there you go. There's a link to my newest video. That's the best way to get around the recommendation algorithm. Okay, well, that's the end of the stream. I will see you guys maybe sometime tomorrow. It depends on if I have the free time. And that's all I got to say. Oh, Lego Crate Dragon says, I just got here, so gonna say hi to you. And that's it. Take care. Bye.